walk us through your breaking story in the Washington
Sure.
Times about the bioweapons program of the Chinese Communist Party.
Yeah, this is a huge story, and it's huge because it's coming from within the Trump administration. People with access to intelligence information have told me that clearly there's new intelligence that China is working on biological weapons designed to attack specific populations, such as ethnic minorities, like the Uyghurs in Western China, like the Tibetans, perhaps others. And this is really scary stuff. Of course, the Chinese have covered up and denied they're doing offensive biological weapons, but it's just been in the past 2 years that the Trump administration, in the form of the annual Arms Control Compliance Report, has said that we have new fears and new concerns about China's covert biological weapons development program.
You're making my head blow up. You're making my head blow up. All this stuff we're hearing in the mainstream media and all this talk and all this happy talk we're going back and forth did they have any involvement in these Wuhan labs with what's accepted under the treaty to look for vaccines and other types of prophylactics and therapeutics and things that can protect people if something breaks out among these populations, and to have some sort of maybe defensive program in case something inadvertently comes out. Even the indication or implication that they would have any offensive program. Why is this not on fire in the U.S. Senate? Why is this not on fire in the mainstream media? Because this gets to the heart of it. How can this possibly be? So give us the details of the story, because I think people are going to sit there and go, what do you mean offensive biological weapons program? Right? Yeah. This is what, General Spalding, and I know Media Matters are going to be all over this, but hey, guess what? You've been dead wrong. You and Mediaite, these other guys that follow us, we never punch down. But you've been wrong. You had Gertz on the first show. You said, oh, he's a nutcase. His hair's on fire. Guess what? Everything Gertz said is true, and directionally, it's all true. And you see the intelligence reports. Sherry Markson, she broke the dossier story of the Five Eyes intelligence guys looking at this. It's all heading in that direction. But Gertz, you got to help me out here. They signed this treaty back in 1984. The only way that the French in this consortium allowed them to build these P4 labs is that they had to have absolute bulletproof to not be outside anything on these treaties. To know that the National Institute of Health, Tony Fauci, is funding this Echo Alliance and the University of Texas at Galveston, and all these guys in their arrogance are dancing around. They got the Bat Lady. The Bat Lady's got more. She's got more money from the U.S. government than some poor professor at Virginia Tech, right? How can you even implicate that there's an offensive weapons program inside the Chinese Communist Party's PLA?
Yeah, this is really significant, and the most significant aspect of this. First of all, the Chinese do not distinguish between civilian and military research, and their military has identified biological as a new domain of warfare. It's in their military writings. They openly speak about developing ethnic weapons. This is not simply something that is being conjured up by officials in the Trump administration. This is a real threat, and it's a real danger. And this is going to be another unwelcome disclosure to the American scientific community, which again has been closely aligned with the Chinese. And we don't know if the Wuhan Institute of Virology is linked to their biological weapons program. I'm told that it is. We haven't seen any evidence. That laboratory's been shut down publicly in order to prevent any kind of inquiry. This needs to be a key element of whatever investigation is done to get to the root of the outbreak of this pandemic. And I'm convinced that it will show that there was clearly a dual-use civilian military biological component to the work that was being undertaken at the Wuhan Institute of Virology.
Before we give U.S. taxpayer dollars to support this international research, please tell me, isn't there some checklist that people have to go through to make sure that everything is within the bounds of the treaties they've signed, given biological weapons? How can we even be talking about this? There's got to be some tight checklist that the military, DOD, the intelligence agencies go through before you send a nickel over there for these experiments. Does that exist? And are scientists outside of that?
No. The only mechanism under the Biological Weapons Convention to which China's a party is that they must submit annual confidence-building measures. And I reported in my Washington Times column last week that China missed the deadline last month for submitting its confidence-building report. Now, this is something that they have to explain what research is being done at what laboratories that has, again, this dual-use capability, that it may be working on vaccines, but it also could be used to build biological weapons. So they have not disclosed the type of work that they're doing on the military side. And this is par for the course. The Chinese have a much secrecy surrounding all aspects of their military program. But their military writings are plain. The science of military strategy has stated clearly that the threats in the future are going to include ethnic targeting biological weapons.
Gertz, Bill, what's your Twitter handle, and how do people get access to your writings?
It's at Bill Gertz, and it's thegertzfile.com. It's my website where you can see all my stories.
Lead investigative reporter of the Washington Times. Thank you, sir. Bill Gertz, an American hero, American patriot. Where's CARE? Where's CARE talking about the Uyghurs? Where's the Gulf Emirates? Where are the guys whining all the time about the Brahim Qassams and the Steve Bannons and the Frank Gaffneys and all these guys, such bad guys about radical Islamic jihad? You have the Uyghurs are targeted now. First of all, they're in concentration camps. Number two, now they're targeted by biological weapons. Okay, folks, it's very simple. You're not having Ramadan. You're not able to do Passover. You can't celebrate the risen Christ in a church. You know why? Because of the biological weapons that they're working on over in China. Okay, they say it's defensive, and this is what leaked out of Wuhan. As sure as the turning of the earth, that's going to be proven. Okay, and what is the United States and the world community going to do about it? We got the Henry Jackson Society, old-time Cold Warriors, next.
Assalamu alaikum, qarindoshlar. Ko'p to'g'anoladek, bugun men hech qanday bir tayyorliqsizla ekronni eshib qoldim. Buningdagi sabab boya shu Steve Bannonning programmasini men kunda anglayman, doim anglayman. Bu odam hozir biz uchun so'zlayotdi. Boshdan oxiri biz uchun so'zlayotdi. Bunun programmasının ismi War Room Pandemic. İngiliz bildiğin dostlarımın bu programında görüp görüşünü ümit qolaman. Bugungi bu 178. qismi, bu adamning programmasının 178. qismi meni qattiq cho'chitdi. Nimishqa deganda, biz uzundan buyon gumon qilib kelayotgan, isbotlashga tirishayotgan, ammo hech amal qilamayotgan bir narsani shu programmada isbotlab berdi. Ya'ni nima deganda, biz burundan faraz qildik. Xitoylar bir xil etnik qoral yasayotdi, biologiyalik qoral yasayotdi. Ya'ni ma'lum bir etnik millatni, masalan deylik Uyg'urni yoki Tibetni bir xil qirib yo'q qilib bir biologiyalik qoral yasayotdi degan gumon dedik. Bu gumonimizni biz so'zligimizda masxaraga qolgan edik. Soğuk ko'zlarga qolgan edik. Ba'zir ochiq oshkora inson nirvon ajlab qopti. Bir millatni yo'qotadigan qoral bo'lamdi. Xitoyning unchalik iqtidori bormi? Iqtidor bo'lgan taqdirda ular inson tursa, masalan, Uyg'urni o'tira oladigan bir qoral yasay olamdi deb masxara qilgan edi bizni. Mana bugun Steve Bannon, ya'ni Prezident Trumpning sobiq mushaviri ishlagan programmada Amerika Washington Times, ya'ni Washington davr gazetining muxbiri Bill Gertz, bayqi odam, muxbir odam, bu nereden egallagan bu uchurni deganida, bu odam dedi avval xabar berib, men deydi, Prezident Trumpningki yaqinlaridan, yanada ishlaydiganlardan shuni egalladimki, Amerika istihbarati yaqında egallagan eng yangi uchurga qaraganda Xitoylar dal virus taqagan Wuhandagi laboratoriyada Uyg'ur qatorliq etnik millatlarni tubdan qirib tashlash maqsadida yasagan biologik qurollarning borligi isbotlangan. Bu biz uchun eng vahimalik bir xabar. Bu xabar oxiri isbotlandi. Bu Amerika istihbarati bilasizlar dunyodagi eng kuchli istihbarat. O'tganda bir qatam Xitoylarniki bir maxfiy zalda ochgan yig'inini FBI'niki Xitoylar bir inchki bilasizlar. Qanday qilib videoga olganligini Xitoylar hayron qolgan. Shu qadar kuchli bir istihbarat bu. Bu aşı laboratoriyada Uyg'ur, Tibet qatorliq etnik millatlarni tubdan qirib tashlaydigan etnik qurol, ya'ni etnik qurol, biologiya qurol deganimizda u qurolni ishlatganda, masalan, Uyg'ur uchun yasalgan bo'lsa, bu qurolni ishlatganda faqat Uyg'urlar o'ladi. Agar Tibet qarta ishlatgan bo'lsa, faqat Tibetli o'ladi. Mana shundoq xatarli qurol. Buni yasab bo'lgan Xitoy. Mana bugün Amerika bunu isbotladı. Demek ki, qarindoshlarimiz, bizning ahvolimiz nihoyat xatarlik. Steve Bannon bu xabarni anglaganda bu odamdan, bu muxbirdan qattiq cho'chidi. Mening portlab ketyapti dedi. Ben portlab ketyapman dedi. Bu qanday mumkin bo'lsin? Masalan, Xitoy 1984-yili shu biologiyalik qurollarni cheklash xalqaro ahdnomasiga imzo atgan tursa, ular nimishqa yana shunda xatarlik qurolni yasab chiqdi deganda, haliqi muxbir dediki, Xitoylar bu ahdnomaga qo'l qo'ygani bilan, kelishimga imzo atgani bilan, uning qildig'ini faqat yilda bir qatim raport tayyorlash deydi. Bu vaqtda buningga İştahat qilganligi shu nimaga ahdnomaga bo'ysunganligi to'g'risidagi bir doklad yo'llaydi ekan to'q. Ammo o'tgan yilninki doklati yo'llanmabdi. Ya'ni oxirgi chek o'tganga qadar yo'llanmabdi. Bu yerda bir shumliq borligini aniq ko'rib olgansizlar qarindoshlar. Endi bu qurol aşardan chiqqancha, ashar yasalayotgancha, bu P4, Wuhandagi P4 laboratoriya nemishqa butun dunyoning diqqatini qo'zg'adi deganda, hozir dunyoni balay ofatga tiqayotgan virus shu yerdan tarqalgan bo'lsa, mana shundoq biz tilga olgan Uyg'ur qatorliq etnik millatlarni tubdan qirib tashlaydigan biologiyalik qurollarni shu yerda yasalgan ekan.